In the last 24 hours, the Nolan Wells family hits social media giants with subpoenas for all information related to Nolan's phone. First, straight out to Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Then we will be joined by Brandon Tatum. Dave Mack, what's happening?
Right now, Nancy, the family of Nolan Wells has announced that they are going after, they have subpoenaed documents for Nolan Wells' phone. They've gone to the media giants like, TikTok, Instagram, the meta companies, everybody that Nolan Wells used to push out videos of what he was doing and pictures. And they're they believe that some material was deleted from Nolan's phone. And this is what they're trying to prove with these subpoenas, to get all of the information, as well as, by the way, the location tracking app, Life 360. So you got Snapchat, WhatsApp, TikTok, meta platforms, and Life 360. All of this, the court documents already filed, Nancy.
Nolan Wells' family slapped subpoenas on multiple social media giants seeking his account information and data. This into the investigation of the teen college football player's mysterious death. They were issued in the last 24 hours, including Snapchat, WhatsApp, TikTok, Meta platforms, Life 360, and these are according to court documents demanding the companies turn over all materials info related to Nolan's accounts. This includes current and prior usernames, passwords, email addresses, phone numbers, even displayed names. They want IP addresses associated with every account, all communications, chats, posts, stories, and info. His cell phone has become a critical issue in the probe into Nolan's death. What happened to Nolan? Now, his mother, Christine, says when her son's phone was brought to the family, they had concerns because there were no pictures or videos on either of his Snapchat accounts.
All communications, chats, posts, stories, and other information. That is the language from the subpoenas filed in the last 24 hours. Not
just handed it over. We didn't think anything of it. She asked for Nolan's phone. We knew they were close friends with, the Wells family, and my buddy went out to his truck and handed the phone over. No complications, no issue, nothing. But I told Miss Christine that we had his phone and he had left it in our possession on the boat.
When did you talk to her about that?
When I was on, no, I didn't talk to her once. It was 12:30. I might have texted her a couple times and talked briefly about a couple things, but I told her on the phone before I called the Coast Guard that we had Nolan's phone. Before I called Miss Christine, none of us had a reason to go through Nolan's phone. There's multiple phones on the boat. Why would it be? And the boat was having issues. Why would our concern be getting on Nolan's phone or something? I don't even know Nolan's password. None of my friends do. We had no reason ever to get on Nolan's phone and look at anything. I didn't even touch Nolan's phone. None of us touched Nolan's phone until somebody took it off the boat and put it in Wyatt's truck, and then no one touched it until we handed it back, to the mom that was at my buddy's house.
That is from
mother, Christine Wonsley, tells a different story. She opened that phone and found a vacuum.
We will be joined by Brandon Tatum. Dave Mack, what's happening?
Right now, Nancy, the family of Nolan Wells has announced that they are going after, they have subpoenaed documents for Nolan Wells' phone. They've gone to the media giants like, TikTok, Instagram, the meta companies, everybody that Nolan Wells used to push out videos of what he was doing and pictures. And they're they believe that some material was deleted from Nolan's phone. And this is what they're trying to prove with these subpoenas, to get all of the information, as well as, by the way, the location tracking app, Life 360. So you got Snapchat, WhatsApp, TikTok, meta platforms, and
They are looking for the truth in the server logs, buried under layers of encryption and corporate legal jargon. The question is simple.
360, and these are according to court documents demanding the companies turn over all materials info related to Nolan's accounts. This includes current and prior usernames, passwords, email addresses, phone numbers, even displayed names. They want IP addresses associated with every account, all communications, chats, posts, stories, and info.
This is where the gap between what was said and what happened becomes a chasm. We have heard from the friends on the boat. They have told their story. They say they never touched the phone. Warren Hudson, one of the friends, insisted there was no reason for us to get on Nolan's phone.
In the probe into Nolan's death, what happened to Nolan? Now his mother, Christine, says when her son's phone was brought to the family, they had concerns because there were no pictures or videos on either of his Snapchat accounts. Triggering their fear, items may have been...
When we opened it up, there was nothing. There were no saved pictures. There were no snaps from that day. We found that very concerning only because anyone who's ever been around Nolan will tell you at social gatherings he's taking videos. He's taking pictures. The official story is that there is nothing to hide. The evidence, however, suggests a hard drive that
University.
has been...
Okay, can't argue with that. Okay, Dr. Jones, what will the evidence reveal? Let's just start on Nolan Wells' cell phone. Let's start with Snapchat.
Sure. So on his cell phone, any images taken for whatever app are going to be stored locally, at least temporarily. So Snap is one of those apps that deletes the picture afterwards. The key here is that when digital files are deleted, the data does not immediately go away. So the data is left intact at least for fractions of a second, sometimes hours, days, weeks. So what they'll find, assuming that they have access to the unencrypted data on the phone, is they will find bits and pieces of old text messages, videos, pictures taken, and that might reveal something that they can timestamp to the event in question, yet the picture is not still in the active files.
This is not just about a teenager's party pictures. This is about the final hours of a life. The subpoenas seek IP addresses from Life 360, the location tracking app. They want the digital breadcrumbs that show where Nolan was, and critically, where his phone was, moment by moment. His mother has already noted discrepancies between his Snapchat location and his actual location. A digital footprint is the hardest thing to erase, and the family is betting that the servers never forget. At the core of this digital dragnet is the question of the timeline. The boat trip, the alleged sinking, the return to shore, the hour and 13...
Does a snap disappear?
A snap appears to disappear to a user. So if I send a snap, and let's say, Nancy, you send me a snap. When I open it up, it disappears from my view. But that media, that photo, that video that you sent me, it is still alive in Snap's ownership.
Okay, so what that means to me as a trial lawyer is I can subpoena it and I can see it.
Yes.
Okay, that made perfect sense. Now I get it. So my son is telling the truth that it disappeared.
Before we go deeper into what the documents actually show, make sure you're subscribed to Project Cold Case. Because we don't just cover the story, we follow the evidence. Picture this: you are handed a smartphone. It belongs to someone who lived their life online, who documented everything. You open their Snapchat. There is nothing. You open their camera roll. There is nothing. It's not a phone, it's a vault that has been wiped clean. That is the visual anchor of this case. A digital tombstone with no inscription. The family has issued subpoenas for everything.
Explain to me what these subpoenas mean. Dr. Jones, from what we're learning in the last 24 hours, Nolan's family demands all IP addresses associated with his accounts, all communications, chats, posts, stories. You can explain later to Tanya what is a story, and all other information. The phone is critical because There's nothing on it for the critical hours. Subpoenas issued in the last hours to Snapchat, WhatsApp, TikTok, Meta, all Meta platforms, and all location tracking platforms, including
Event.
life.
They want the raw data, the metadata, the logs that show when a message was sent, when a story was viewed, and most importantly, when something was deleted.
From the phone.
I assume his phone had a password. There are certain things that you need the password to do, such as delete activity. But if you don't have a password and you pick up your phone, if you're touching the screen, that leaves a trace. If you're trying to power it off, that leaves a trace. So we should be able to see people without a password trying to actively interact with that.
A log of activity. The subpoenas are designed to retrieve those logs. They will show if anyone attempted to unlock the device, even if they failed. They will show if the phone was powered off.
Actively interact with that phone as well as someone that has it. So we would do a forensic acquisition, and that's really important here. Someone just looking in the phone, you can get a glimpse, but you can't see what's deleted and hiding below the surface. We need a forensic acquisition to do that. We can tell if it was just soft deleted, so like sitting in a trash can, or a hard delete. So if you empty your trash on your phone and then you go and throw it into a dumpster and the trash is taken away, there is a log that tracks everything. Also,
the
with
family's
time,
legal team, which includes prominent civil rights attorney Ben Crump, has already put the friends, their families, and local law enforcement on notice to preserve
Busy place
evidence.
and things are being replaced and removed all the time. The physical acquisition will take a snapshot in time of anything that's left, in particular, the fragments. She also made a very good point about the logs. Phones, modern smartphones, keep very detailed logs. It's not the picture, but it will tell you that someone deleted a picture, and you may even have a timestamp or other metadata.
The social media giants are processing the legal demands. The results
from
could take
social media giants.
Everything. That's what they want. And I've been saying this from the beginning. These are the types of things they should have been doing from the beginning. Not press conferences, not grandstanding, not the all show no go, but getting the actual data from the phone so they can get real answers to put all the information regarding what happened in context. They will know if anything was posted, if anything was deleted.
The courtroom of public opinion is divided, but the court of digital record is about to open its session. For the full scope of this legal action, we direct you to review the actual court documents filed in the Jackson County Court, which have been obtained and published by the Sun-Herald. The question we leave you with is this. If you truly have nothing to hide, why does your story change when held?
Explain it.
Absolutely. When a child dies, every second, every hour, every day matters. Families and investigators need timely access to lawfully requested evidence so they can find answers and hold the right people accountable. And Snapchat claims to respond to most legal requests in 2 to 3 weeks, but critics say some investigations have taken months, which delays justice. Meta, Instagram, right? There aren't many kids on Facebook these days. There's no public average for subpoena response times, but it varies. It varies. And investigators have criticized delays in some really high-profile child safety and teen death cases. WhatsApp, we talked about that earlier. Even with a warrant, Meta generally cannot read or produce message content because it doesn't have it. That's what we were talking about with the challenges with encryption. It's not a response time thing, it's the encryption. So I don't know if I answered your question, but I just felt it was really important to be very clear about
If a young man vanished into the Gulf and his phone came back with nothing on it, who pulled the trigger on the delete key?
Easily explainable when we know all the facts. But we will not stop until we know the facts. If you know or think you know anything regarding Nolan's case, please dial 228-769-3000. Bombshell tonight. In the last 24 hours, Nolan Wells' family hits social media giants, subpoenaing Nolan's accounts.